Winner chicken dinner. David, you get a high five for that? Yes, there they are. Can you believe it? That's exactly what we're looking for. So like I said, David is sitting so much higher up than I am. He's got a much better view than what I do down and below. And that's where, if you go on a safari, don't think that you're just in and the guide and the tracker have to spot everything, because you've got the best spot, especially if you're sitting on the back row. You can see everything because the vehicles are all sort of layered, and as the seats get further and further back, the seats get higher. And I can't tell you how much of an advantage you have if you've got height on your side. Well, that is the easy part now that we found them. David, yes. How on earth are we going to get in there? I think we're going to have to go across to Rebecca's and come in from that side. So what I'm doing now, and you can have a look, is I'm just checking on my map exactly where we are. So you can come and have a look here. No. So you see, we're over there, and the lions are basically between this road, Rebecca's, and over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to take a little pin. Let's do it very quickly. I'll show you what I'm going to do. We need to move this to about there. We'll drop a pin. Place mark number 9. The rest all birds' nests that I've found. And we're going to head across back to Rebecca's and see if we can find those lions. Now, I'm going to send you off to Brent because I suspect I'm going to have to do a lot of bundu bashing this morning. I think you're right. We have them. Please be that and not a termite mound. It will be so embarrassing if it's a termite mound. Nope, it's the lions. Yay. My goodness, you sneaky sausages. Alright, we're just going to get a nice spot to have a good look. Now this is a bizarre scene. Oh no, there they are. Haha, it's not so bizarre anymore. Hello, Leons. Thank you for giving us the run around and not making it too easy. As we get a death stare from Amber Eyes, the lioness sitting closest to us. Now, initially why I said it looked like an ob scene is because as I came around the corner, I could just see these 2 lionesses and the 1 cub. And you can see the others are tucked away in the distance. And I didn't see them lying around there. But it looks like all 5 lionesses are here. And I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like all 6 cubs are here too. Wonderful. Now I'm just going to call the sighting in very quickly on the radio. Now, we shall get to the radio in a moment because that's another interesting story. There we go. But it looks like this lioness closest to us, Amber Eyes, she's got quite a big belly. And we'll have a better look at hopefully the others in a moment. It seems as though they're grooming themselves. They're starting to wake up now. So hopefully the action will just start to begin. But we're going to head on over back across to Brent, who has got a beautiful kudu to show you. You are very right in saying, Brent, that they are flat indeed, but there's a couple of them that have got their heads up and grooming themselves. But we'll have to wait and see what happens, of course. Hopefully the little ones wake up and start to play. One of the lionesses, she's just repositioning now, so she can groom the other half of her body. But it's it is a very peaceful scene out here this morning. And I'm trying to work out if the others have had something to eat, because it looks like Amber Eyes is quite round. Now, speaking about dear Amber Eyes, you can see she's got a bit of a belly on her this morning. And I know Natasha was wondering, if it could be possible that she is pregnant. There's definitely a possibility, but I think it's a little bit too early to say just yet. We'll have to wait for the mammary glands to start swelling. It doesn't look like they're swollen just yet, so maybe she's just eaten something. And I know that earlier Chris had said that the lioness that went to the pan was quite lean, but we've seen it before where some of the members, if they caught something small like an impala or a kudu, something not as large as a buffalo, it could definitely be a possibility that one of them missed out and didn't quite get a mouthful and get a meal, and that could be the cause of it. But we'll just sort of have to wait and see until they decide to move or roll over and give us a better view of their undersides. And hopefully that won't be too long. We can get to the bottom of this mystery. However, I am just happy that the Nkuhumas are back home. It has been a long time since, well, it feels like forever, since they have been back on Djuma. So this is a welcoming surprise. And not far from home either, only a few hundred meters away. Now I'm looking for my favorite little girl, but I suspect that she's all curled up, probably still sleeping. Now we'll go back and we'll have another look at Amber Eyes. Now, Michael, you were wondering if I thought that her nipples were a little bit more pronounced than normal. Well, possibly. It's very difficult to say, though, and I also don't want to get anybody too excited and make too many speculations. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll see what the other lions look like. I think they look pretty normal. From the other afternoon when we saw her sleeping, she rolled over a couple of times, but she was behind some bushes. And she didn't look particularly fat that day, and that was, I think, 2 or 3 afternoons ago. So we really just have to wait and sit it out and see what she looks like when she stands up, or maybe wait another week or 2 and then sort of make a decision. Like I said, I don't know if the others... David, my friend... It's dropped. So I had a friend that was sitting on top of my hat. I'll put it... It's like a clicking beetle, but it's got... Watch it. It's got rather large... Sorry. It doesn't want to stay. Okay, we'll put it on my hat. There it is. It was crawling around. Obviously, I caught it as we went through one of the bushes. There we go. Not happy with me handling it anymore, so it decided to fly away. That's okay, fine. You go and be brave with the lions then. We'll sit here happily. Now, I'm going to have to do a bit of chatting on the radio in a moment, just to guide some of the other guides who are coming into the sighting, because it was a bit tricky. So we'll do that. So let's go back across to Brent, who has got a wonderful wildebeest. Now you can see this lioness, she's very much licking in the same spot, and we notice she has a small wound on her leg, and you can just start to see it now. It's not a serious wound. It almost just looks like it's a graze of some sort. Now she's licking it to keep it nice and clean. But I don't know what's happened here. It could have been from when they did take down that buffalo at Arathusa. That could be a possibility. I'm not sure, but it's not bad. It's just she's just taken the hair and a little bit of skin off of her leg, but she'll be fine. It's probably a bit more annoying than really anything, and you know what it's like if you graze your leg on the carpet. It burns really badly, but she will be fine. Now, I don't know how much of the carcass was left yesterday when Evia was with the lions, but I suspect that their bellies are, well, I suppose on the full side, maybe from feeding on the last of their carcass, because we had a look at one of the other lionesses, and they're not bulging, but they're definitely not, they're not thin. So maybe there was one lioness that wasn't feeling up to it and didn't quite finish the carcass with the rest of the group. But most of them seem to have bellies that, well, are decent sizes. She's looking very, very carefully. Thank goodness we don't have to lick our feet. When we have an injury, we can just go to the doctor or put some antiseptic on and do all that work ourselves. I don't know how I would quite feel if that's how we had to take care of our wounds. But you can see there's lots of flies hanging around. I'm sure she'll just give it a good clean, and then she'll probably go straight back to sleep. It actually doesn't look like these lions are going to do too much moving around. I think we missed them, and they were moving throughout the early hours of the morning, and maybe even started walking late last night. And you can see the others also giving themselves a good groom. Now, normally, when they start to groom themselves like this, it's an indicator that they're going to get up. But I suspect that it's the opposite, that they've had a long walk, they've eaten the buffalo, maybe they didn't quite groom themselves as well before they left Arathusa, and well, now they've come back to their home, they've settled down, having a last groom, washing their faces and their hands, putting all their different lotions and creams on, their eye creams, and well, then they're probably going to go back to bed soon. So they'll have to add one of those eye masks that block out all the sunlight. I don't know if I could sleep during the middle of the day. Hello, beautiful girl. But you can see she's not thin either. She's got a little bit of a belly on her. Hello, Jerry from South Carolina. Now, let me put this down. You were wondering if I managed to see the footage of FW and, of course, the chameleon in the lion's mane. I did. I just finished a walk, and I was sitting in final control with absolute envy. It was quite amazing. And I wonder if that little chameleon is probably still hiding away in its mane. Wouldn't that be funny if we found Nkuhuma again and outcrawled his pet chameleon? I think it's a good spot to be in there. I'm sure there's all sorts of parasites and insects that little chameleon could probably munch on, and it'd be a lovely nutritious snack. But that's unusual. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. That was a once-in-a-lifetime sighting. So I'm so happy for him that he was able to see something like that, because now I've put that on my bucket list. If I'll get to see it, I'm not sure. I'll just have to keep guiding for a little bit longer and see if one day I manage to see something along those lines. Now, I actually, just before you came back to us, I was speaking to Taxon, and I asked Taxon if he'd seen any sign of the Birmingham boys, and I actually got an interesting response from him. He said that he thought he heard one of the Birminghams this morning. Oh, I'm just going to turn the Game Drive radio down, I apologize. So, there's one around. I don't know who it is, most likely Nkuhuma. He seems to hang around, of course, all these beautiful lionesses the most. And, you know, you can go weeks and weeks that these boys will go off on territorial patrols. We don't really know what's happening on the other properties. Maybe they encountered another group of male lions. We're not sure. But I think they'll be back eventually. I mean, now that the girls are coming back, I think we'll be fine. Sure, she's been through the wars. Look on her left, her elbow. It's like she's had a bit of a knock as well. You can see a bit of swelling. Now, I used to always see this on my horses' hocks from when they'd been kicking in the stable. They used to get a bit of fluid build-up, but not anything that would cause sort of lameness. It's just more of an irritation, I suppose, and with a bit of ice. Not that this lion has access to ice, but something like that would make it disappear quite quickly. But she's battered and bruised. But then nothing really looks too fresh, so perhaps this all happened when they were on Arathusa. Hello, girl, are you tired? She looks exhausted. And hopefully Amber Eyes will be the next one. I think she may be. It looks like she just did a little bit of a yawn. So let's see if she's going to follow this other lioness and get up and move a little bit closer to the rest of the pride. Having a good scratch. Up she gets. Tayla, beautiful girl. You see, they're not too fat. No, I think that their bellies are just a little bit sort of bulging because of all the buffalo they've been eating recently. Now, we'll hang around with the Nkuhumas for a little bit longer, but I suspect they're going to sleep for most of the morning. But Evie's just woken up, he's changed out of his pajamas, and he's ready to start the day on the walk. What a pity that those leopards disappeared out of our traverse, but hopefully they won't be gone for too long. And sadly, we're also not going to be able to stay with the Nkuhumas for too much longer because there are quite a few people who would absolutely love to come and see them. But you can see, I don't think we're going to miss out on too much. And if there's an opportunity to, we will try and pop back in again a little bit later. Maybe they decide to move around then. But I think it is going to be a scorcher of a day. And they'll probably move around a little bit, not too much, maybe just to find a better source of shade. But for now, they're quite content. And I found my floppy-eared girl. There she is, suckling away, also fast asleep. She's not even twitching an ear when one of the vehicles repositions. She's enjoying her breakfast. And she actually has the right to still be suckling because she's only about 5 months old now. But those other cubs, the other 3 older ones that are about 7 months old now, they are so cheeky that they're still trying to suckle. And I think out of all the cubs, those 3 are the 3 that suckle the most. But David and I were chatting about what a survivor and what a fighter our favorite little girl is. And I hope she manages to beat off this mange. And I think she will. I think especially now that we've had the rain, the quality of the grasses and all those things are going to start to improve. I think that now the chances are in her favor. And I think with her feisty personality, she doesn't let anything stop her. What a lovely girl. Now, Marianne, you were wondering how old are the cubs generally when they're allowed to go on the hunt? Typically, we start to see them at about 1.5 years or so, joining in on the hunts, where they're sitting and observing, maybe even as young as about 1 year old. They'll be taken with, but then they have to sit off in the distance and sort of watch. But at 1.5 years, they're not going to be too much help, and I always say this, is because they get too excited. They have not mastered the art of patience, which takes a long time. I'm still learning about patience, and I'm 24. So I think that these little cubs have got a long way to go still. So they sit there and they watch and they get excited and they chase the animal off after the adults had been stalking for the past 2 hours, and they ruin the entire hunt and they've got to start again. But that's all part of the learning process. Or you never know, maybe one of them poking their heads up before they should surprises the animal runs straight into the direction where the adults are laying. So it could work in their favor, taking them out on hunts. But they've definitely got a head start. That sighting we had right near the dam cam about a month or so ago with the little ones jumping on a baby buffalo while it was still alive, and as sad as what it was, that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. And I don't think it's a common thing for tiny little lion cubs like the ones that we were looking at to be able to have a first-hand experience on how to take down a buffalo. Not once it's already passed on, but one that was actually still alive, and a small one too. Remember, we watched as one of the young cubs wiggled its bum and then pounced onto the back of that young buffalo calf as it was standing up, just like the adults would, and then practiced the balancing act. So all that tree climbing that we've watched them do, that really has done them good and is helping them prepare for adulthood. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to have to pull out now. We're going to have to give a couple of other vehicles a chance. I'm going to call one of the other guides in now. But like I said, they're not doing too much. They're very much relaxed. We know where they are. I suspect that the sightings will probably move through quite quickly because they are fast asleep. And we will pop back here and we'll come and have another look. But let's go back across to Evia and see if he's made any sense of those alarm calls.